Welcome to This Week in Mariemont Warriors Sports here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports and MariemontSports.com. I'm Jason Griefer, and as always, we're joined by Mariemont AD Tom Nurl. Tom, good to talk to you again. How are we, and how was the weekend?
I'm well, Jason. Thanks for having me again. The weekend was good. A few W's over the weekend, probably more than a few, which is always a good weekend. And this change in weather is great for the athletes and it's just great for life in general. So hopefully it sticks around. Nothing better than a cool evening in the fall with sweatshirts and shorts and watching sports. So
Yeah, and hopefully all those W's stick around. I like the humble brag you threw in there with all the W's you picked up over the weekend. So, but it's accurate, and let's talk a little bit about it. Let's start first with your football team picking up another win and getting a comeback win over Reading, 25-20. And so now you're sitting at 3-2 going into the final week of the year, and you're going to get Deer Park this week to close out the regular season. Deer Park got off to a nice start, and then the last 2 weeks they have really hit the skids, losing both games, being outscored 79-7 in the two losses. So what's the message right now to your football team? Are they looking at this as, hey, Deer Park's still a dangerous team despite the last 2 weeks, or are they feeling like with the way Deer Park's given up points, it's a week for the offense to get some momentum going into the playoffs?
I think you have to look at their whole body of work because Deer Park had a really nice comeback win against Taylor early in the season. Like everyone else, they went through the gauntlet of Wyoming and Indian Hill, and so you get banged up a little bit against that. We knew going into the season that Madera had a explosive offense, and it looks like they got untracked from that the week before Taylor, and so we need to take care of business. I mean, the Reading game was a perfect trap game. Congratulations to Reading on their effort, but out of the first three possessions of the game, we were down 14 zip. So 3 and out on the first series. Reading went right down and scored. Stole the ball in our second possession, went down and scored. On a defensive possession. So we were struggling all night. Took us a while to get things going. Had some big catches by some different performers. Seth Green. With his running, and then Max Tepe and Jack Borgerding had an outstanding day with a number of receptions. Just across the board, a team win to gut it out, come back, get the win. So we'll take 3-2 any day. We'll take the win. You never give them back. And, the playoff pairing should be coming out Thursday. We believe we are now playing in round one. We were thinking we might have a bye, which may have changed our approach to the Deer Park game, but it's a league game, and you got to start setting that precedent. So we're going to come out ready for the Wildcats.
I have to imagine that part of the message this week, then, based on what you were talking about with the Reading game, is that you can't get off to a slow start again the way you did against Reading against Deer Park. Would that be accurate?
That would be accurate. And just so many weird things happened in that game. There were two takeaways in that game, one by each team where they just stole the ball from the ball carrier and ran into the end zone. A few mixed extra points on both sides, just some crazy games. Reading had fumbled the ball forward going into the end zone. They're on the 2-yard line on a play, fumbled into the end zone. The football squiggled around as it does, and we ended up on it for a touchback. So just a whole lot of crazy that game. So, but the crazy went our way, just like some families have relatives that way. You'll take the crazy you have to take to get out of there. So we did. And we took the win, and, the kids are going to be working hard this week. It's the last regular season game. Don't know where we'll end up with home games the rest of the way through. So the seniors get their last game in Coosville. It'll be a special night.
Have you already put together a contingency plan for the playoffs? Should you not make a deep run? A lot of teams are doing that, getting a backup schedule ready, in case you are eliminated from the playoffs early.
Yeah, we've talked to a few schools. We haven't put anything in stone yet because you don't know when you're going to get knocked out. So
Sure.
I would think it'd be kind of crazy to schedule week 8 and then turn around and, put someone else at an inconvenience of finding a game for week 8. We have spoken with Madera. That's our league game that we have not played. And so when both teams are out of the playoffs, we will play that game, our rivalry game. But we'll find out who's in, who's out as we go week by week and add some games and try to get to 10. For this group of athletes.
We'll keep track of that on MariemontSports.com. Let's move on. Hit the links. We talked a little bit last week about the golf team heading into the league championship, and it was likely going to be a 3-horse race between Mariemont, Madera, and Indian Hill, and it turned out to be exactly that. Madera and Indian Hill wind up splitting the league title, and your team just finishes, just 3 strokes off of the league title. You look at the individual standings, you finished with 3 of the top 8 scorers there. So, I mean, it was neck and neck, just little things go here or there. How are they feeling after the league championship?
Well, one second before we jump on the boys, we've got Lainey Hurt playing in the girls sectional today.
Mm-hmm.
Lainey is our lone girls golfer in the high school and has been medalist in 3 of her matches. Lainey participates with the Madera golf team. It's coached by their coach and travels with her team and competes in the matches for Mariemont, but with the Madera team. So her sectional is today. Looks like it might be a little damp up at the Fairfield Elks, but hopefully she has another good round and can advance to the districts. But getting back to the boys, we knew it was going to be close. Madera has an outstanding bunch that they've been hot with all year. We've been neck and neck with Indian Hill, and so when you lose a tri-match week before and you know it's going to be tight, just a couple of bad holes are all that do you in, and so that's what it came down to. Indian Hill and Madera had great rounds, and we're just, like you said, we're 3 strokes off the pace, and that's the difference between first and third. So the boys are, they know they're good golfers, and they are good golfers, and they're going to get out to the sectionals this week and hopefully score low and return to the districts where they were last year.
Are they using it as motivation, or were they frustrated that they weren't able to come out with it, especially given that it was so close, as I said, just 3 shots off of a share of the league title?
I think there's some frustration there. I believe that league title went down to a playoff with the 5th golfers, like we had in the preview. So, there's some frustration there. Some guys have been playing well all year, had a rough day that day. You go into a match like that, and all of a sudden you hit one off hit one out of bounds or just out of play, and had to make that shot coming back. And so sometimes you get off track early and don't get the chance to come back. But it was a team effort across the board. So, they'll get after it this week, and they're good guys, and they all have experience. So I think they know what needs to be done, and they'll just give their best effort on Wednesday in the sectionals.
And we'll certainly be checking on and see how they do in the sectionals coming up on Wednesday. Let's move on. Let's talk about your volleyball team. This has been a struggle for them as of late over the last couple of weeks, and it doesn't get any easier because now you get Wyoming on Tuesday, and we've talked here on the show before about how good Wyoming's been in volleyball for the last decade in the CHL. How are they treating this game? Are they going into this thing with maybe a nothing to lose type of mindset, or are they trying to treat it like it's any other opponent?
It's been a strange season. We knew it was going to be. We knew we were young going in with 2 seniors and 3 juniors, and just a lot of underclassmen coming back. And so sometimes learning to compete, you have to learn to do that before you learn how to win sometimes. And so it's just been difficult on the consistency of play. But they know Wyoming's coming in. They know Wyoming's good, and so I think they'll just come and say, "Hey, let's take it. Let's win 1 point at a time. Let's see if we can get a match from them, and then build for that with Indian Hill the next night."
And we'll certainly be checking on that as well. Let's move on. Talk about your tennis team, and boy, what a performance they delivered out at the Coaches Classic, and that's a big deal in the area. And your team, both team-wise and individuals, they performed very well. Take the fans through the highlights here. Who performed well? How did they feel coming out of the Coaches Classic?
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I lost you.
Nope, you still got me, Tom?
Jason, are you there?
Yep. There we go.
Okay.
Got you back?
There we go. Yeah. So
all right.
You're talking about the tennis team.
Yeah, they had a really strong performance out of the Coaches Classic there. Take us through that. Who performed well, and how did they feel coming out of it?
The team was loaded going in, coming back. Kate Taylor had a tough match and lost hers, but just the rest of them I'm going to forget them by name. So if you've got them, help me out. I tweeted it out earlier, but to win the 2 singles and come back with the 2 double matches and to take them, a little bit harder flight, I think, than in years past. And so to get those couple of wins, really exciting for the girls. And, they're going to have their sectionals coming up next week. They have Senior Day Wednesday against Talawanda, and we have, I believe, 9 seniors that we're going to recognize there. But just really exciting for them to come up. They've been consistent with their play all year. They've been really a formidable force for our level of tennis.
Yeah.
By school size, not by talent size. And so to get the Coaches Classic and get ready for the sectionals, they're excited. We're excited. We think we're going to have a couple number 1 seeds as we go into the sectional draw. So just really looking forward to getting that started.
Yeah, you were talking about some of the individuals who perform well. Through some of the Claire Solar, Logan Wilhelm, they win first place in the doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline DeWeese, Lucy Neville placed second in doubles, and then Ella wins overall third singles champ. So there, as we said, just up and down success across the board. How did they feel coming out of it? I have to imagine they were pretty excited given the competition they saw.
They were excited. Coach Spreen was excited to do that Thursday and come back on Saturday morning and get that same effort. Just really excited to get going on. I think there's really a lot of anticipation going into this sectional tournament, more so than other years. Other years, we always hope that there might be one that can advance to the districts, but we really think, we can get our doubles teams going forward, and then maybe a single or 2 and get 3, 4, 5 people into the district. So really hope to get good weather for that when that rolls around and that they're ready to go for that.
Let's move on to the pitch. Let's first talk about your girls soccer team. They're still sitting atop the CHL and still unbeaten there as well. But now they're going to start on the road. They've got starting a 4-match road trip this Wednesday with Reading, and then I believe you got Turpin coming up a little bit later on after that. Have you gotten maybe a sense right now? I mean, we're heading into the home stretch of the season. Still a few games left, but maybe a sense of increased focus with this road trip coming up, knowing that they're not going to be back at home until the 10th of October.
Well, no, because they've been pretty matter of fact all year and pretty businesslike. They went out to Batavia last week and took care of business. Got back home, but Reading and Deer Park, and you got Turpin in between those two. A great challenge out Turpin. It's going to be a challenge for all of them because you have to work against the letdowns and just continue the excellence that you've had throughout the season. We've got the draw coming up next week, and so to get those extra wins and just to maintain the boys. I mean, we got a little healthy competition here.
Yeah.
Both teams are undefeated, and they're on both sides. So the only bad thing with this pandemic is we just can't open up the gates and let anyone come because our crowds and the support would have been much higher. But they're having a great season. They're a very focused bunch. They're a very determined bunch. And as you look at the box scores going through, they're spreading the scoring out and the assist out. And so they're fun to watch. They're a very exciting team. And I think when they come back home, I think it's the Madera match in 2 weeks, which will be, again, a big rivalry match. So not to put the cart ahead of the horse, but, to get these next 3 in a row here and just to stay strong with their wins and just keep working hard and staying healthy. I think if we would have looked at this on our first broadcast and said, hey, it's the turn of October, are we still going to be playing soccer and football and everything else? I think everyone had in the back of their minds that, we don't know which way this pandemic's going to go. Let's just get as many games in as we can. And so to be at this point in the season, to be undefeated, to stay together is really a good accomplishment for all the teams here. So hopefully we keep it going and take a long run into the tournament once it kicks off here in a couple of weeks.
You talked a moment ago about not being able to open the gates and pack the stadium for when the girls soccer team comes back home on October the 10th. How has the support been when you've been able to have those home matches for the girls?
The support's been great. The parents on both teams have always been responsive to the governor's orders on what we have to do with masks and attendance and everything else. And since the kids are in school, we figure we can let limited numbers of students in school, and they've always gobbled up those tickets to come out and support the teams. So that part has been good, but you lose some things along the way. You lose your big senior night that you have at the end of football season. You just can't have the parents of the graduates from last year come back and watch games on a regular basis. So you lose a little bit of that support. But other than that, the excitement around the school, the support the athletes are receiving has been phenomenal.
Let's touch on the boys here before as we're wrapping up the show here. They're unbeaten, they're unblemished, they're 11-0-0, and last week made it look easy once again, crushing Finneytown 9-1, and then beating West Claremont 3-0. You break down some of this even further. 8 of their 11 wins are by multiple goals, and they just keep it rolling night in and night out. From somebody who's not there every night like I am, I don't get to see him every time out there. How are they making this look seemingly so easy every single night that they're out there just taking teams apart and not really having a drop off each time, knowing that they're going to get everybody's best shot?
I don't know. This is just a special bunch because, when we watch them and the word I was getting back from West Claremont, because I wasn't there and it was tied at the half, and it wasn't that there was any panic or any worry about getting some goals on the board. West Claremont being a big Division I school, it was just you knew they were going to score. They have that confidence. They're getting their shots, and the defense is we have an excellent defense. Defense with so many support plays last week as they're going for the shutout against Finneytown, and Finneytown ended up getting the goal. But just the defense falling back and supporting the goalkeeper has been fun to watch. And they just know, different guys are scoring. Like we said about the girls, different guys are scoring, different guys are getting the assist. There's just an air about them that they're confident and they know they're going to get the job done. So fun to watch. A couple of home games coming up for them, which will be good to see. And just can't wait to see where they get in the draw. They were ranked number 1 team in the state. Just seeing how we can make this go forward and get a deep run for them in the tournament.
I know they're not looking ahead. They've got Reading and then Oakwood coming up on Saturday, Reading this Tuesday. But from your perspective, as you said, where the rankings are what they are right now, do you feel like you have a state champion right now with this boys soccer team?
No, we're not even going to mention that.
You're not playing.
We are not going to tempt fate, and we are not. They said, you've heard me before. Don't put the cart ahead of the horse, but you take them. We're going to sound like Crash Davis here in Bull Durham. We're going to take it one day at a time. If the good Lord's willing, we'll be in the finals. But it's a special team. The boys and girls are special teams. Sometimes you run into the crazy nights like we did last year. We just can't get the ball into the goal.
Yeah.
But then everything else falls into place for you. So that's what we're looking forward to. I think the boys understand. I know Coach Vonix has gotten that message out. It's one match at a time, and we'll take it that way and dominate that match, move on, and get the next one. So no, we're not even going to mention those 2 words until it's that week.
So fans, just keep it in mind. Tom Nurl is just happy to be there and happy to help the ball club. Let's just keep
absolutely.
What more can you say? Great catching up with you, Tom. Once again, a lot of exciting things going on right now. Regular season's winding up for some. We're already into the postseason for some, and enjoyed it once again. We'll look forward to it again next week.
Great, Jason. I appreciate it. Have a great week.
Absolutely. That is Mariemont AD Tom Nurl joining us here for this week in Mariemont Warriors Sports here on ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.